Hey, we're on a job site. You can see this is a patch area. There's a fracture here and there. We can cut out this area. You can cut it out 2 foot by 3 foot area, but then it turns into a big patch. This patch isn't totally broken, so we can get away with just digging out V-notch in the fracture here, taping it, and then I can use this big knife. This is a big texture knife, and I can really float out this whole area with mud. So let's get started on it with any of these fractures. I always like to V-notch it, so I take the crack at a 45 degree, and then I like to cut it out. I do one side. You're going to take your time with this razor blade. Then you V-notch it out, and you go all the way down, and you take a 6-inch knife and you scrape it. So now you left a channel there, and you follow through on the rest of the crack, and you do the same thing. With this, we got lucky. We were able to save the patch, not have to cut out a big section of drywall. If you're able to do good mudding and stuff like that, you're able to fix and save stuff like that. So now that I got it dug out, I like to throw a few screws. This is probably a stud right here, so I like to tighten it up. Throw a few screws in, right along the stud here. Sometimes here I could even put a piece of wood in there, but it doesn't really need it. Videos, I use my fiberglass tape. I always use fiberglass tape on repairs. So you just follow your V-notch crack that you cut out. You're just basically fiberglass in the seam, fiberglass, fiberglass. Follow it down. This gap over here is a little bigger, so you can even double layer your fiberglass. 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers. It doesn't hurt. Sometimes your fiberglass, it doesn't like to stick to these old walls, so you can use a spray glue to stick it to it, or you just push it down. Follow through with a 6. Everything's fiberglass. I'm gonna follow through here because it kind of turns, so I put a piece there and a piece there. It doesn't hurt. So we don't have to cut out a whole section of drywall. We got the fracture, it just barely dimpled in. The drywall, it didn't totally break. If it would have broken in completely, then we'd have to cut it out, but right now it's just gonna be an easy, savable thing. We're gonna go mix some 5-minute mud, and now we're gonna coat that whole patch up. So let me go mix some 5-minute mud. Batch of muds with the bigger pan, but you just use the pan that you're comfortable with. Sometimes beginner pan, you just need a cheap little 12 or 14-inch pan would be good enough for simple do-it-yourself projects. But with this 5-minute, like I said, I like to mix some fresh water in it and just toss and turn, mix it up thoroughly. I usually do about a half a pan. I'll start with a scoop of water, maybe another sponge full of water, 1 to 2 sponges to get it going. Right here it's a little dry, so I'll just put another handful of water in the corner where it's the dry mix. And you just keep mixing and mixing. You can always add a little more water or a little more powder to get the thickness you need. The first coat, we always want it thick. We want it thick, but we still want it. Get our 5-minute mud. I like to always take my 6-inch knife and I like to strike in the tape areas, and I like to push down hard to get that mud inside the gap, especially in the V-notch gap. This basically works like a pre-fill to get inside the gap. Now that we got that lined up, we can take our bigger knife. I'm using my 12-inch knife. I'm basically going to put the materials on the wall. Put the materials on the wall. Put them on the wall. I usually use what I got in the pan, get all my materials on the wall, and I'll feather the sides. Sometimes here where it's deep, I'll put extra materials. I'm going to feather the side here. I'm going to take the corner bead. This is a round bullnose corner bead. So all my materials I went in the center where it's really deep in the patch. So now I got my big knife. This is just a basic texture knife, and I follow it through. Up, down. Then you can come back up, and you can go sideways, whatever it takes. Right there you can see it's still kind of deep in the area, so I can take my excess materials and put it back on there.